I hear you loud and clear. And now, so does the rest of the world. I'd like
Let's
to
do
take
this.
a moment to say hello to everyone who's tuning in to see us on Thursday, September 11th, 2025. No, we have not forgotten. Of course, down here in South Florida, it's another day and another issue or two. But we will start off first because I know this grabbed your attention, Larry Mastropieri of the Mastropieri Group, broker owner, and I'm John Laws of Discover South Florida. If we haven't met before, apparently, according to JLL Real Estate Company, South Florida is the place people are moving to right now. In fact, more people moving there than virtually every other top metro. Is that correct? Is that the understanding here, Larry?
There's a lot of population growth still.
Yeah.
South Florida isn't dead.
No,
right?
which that would be the first I've heard of it. But then again, I feel like most of the articles we had seen with South Florida post-pandemic was that obviously there was a big spike, and then it got to a point where it's like, oh my goodness, it's not growing as fast as it was. You know what I mean? Because we kept well, at least I was comparing it to inflation. I'm like, okay, so even when it's down, it's still going up, just not at the rate we had seen in the past. But obviously, South Florida is very nice. I love the interactive Adobe PDF we have here. As JLL put together a nice thing. A lot of this is about Miami. Look at that. I mean, you click on it. It's
beautiful.
It's like move over Microsoft PowerPoint. Adobe is in the house. Yeah, it just look nice. But so
here's some interesting stats. Well, Ken Griffin, what did he say? He said, Miami, in my opinion, symbolizes the future of America. And he obviously moved his whole operation, which is a big operation, from, I believe, Chicago, the Midwest, to Miami. Yeah. So,
well, Ken Griffin's the one that's built up the 27 contiguous acres in Palm Beach, correct? That we talked about before.
Maybe Ken Griffin. He's a private equity guy. We'll fact check that. I'm not sure.
It is. Yeah, I know it is.
It's him. Okay. You know better than I do.
I'm just saying. I remember the video, and I just see in the countless area because he bought those two properties off of William Lauder, the heir to the Estee Lauder company, and because obviously that's how they build homes down in Palm Beach is, since land is so scarce that they just, the really rich people, they buy mansions to tear them down and then build bigger mansions, so that's
exactly.
When you got that kind of money, that's really nice. So as I'm looking at some of the statistics here with Miami-Dade County, median household income is $73,000. Honestly, I would have thought it was a lot higher than that. But what I find interesting on this chart, they have, if you go ahead a page or two, they have the Tri-County area. I see Palm Beach County, Broward County, and Miami-Dade. But why don't I see Palm Beach or Broward County? I feel left out.
Right. It's hurtful. It's hurtful.
I wasn't going to make a big deal about it, but here we are.
I liked this. The third most fun city in the U.S. What cities are funner or more fun?
I don't know.
I wonder who beat us.
That's what I was just. I guess New York, maybe, but that's that's one of those that
maybe
it's fun to visit. It doesn't necessarily mean I'd want to live there.
Vegas, maybe.
Yeah, that's a good guess.
I don't know though. I think Miami has more diversity as far as just different areas that you can.
Yes, that is true.
A lot to do, right? So yeah, I don't know. So that'd be interesting to see who beat us. Highest population growth in 2024, U.S. Census. That was interesting. Best city to have or second best city to have a small business in the U.S.
Now that surprises me a little bit.
Yeah, I think it's just the business-friendly nature of Florida, and then layer in a very strong city, right? Economically strong city, right? Miami-Dade, right? Because there's obviously Orlando and other places that are also very favored here. So, yeah. Number 16 in the top 20 tech startup ecosystems in the world. That's interesting. I don't know how they're ranking all this, but
well, again, that's why I'm just kind of, I was just going to let you roll with that for a little bit. I'm like, according to something.com / we're legit.
Yeah. So I thought there was an interesting stat here. The unemployment rate in the twos, right?
Right.
And they showed later on. We already knew this though. We'll jump to this, but we'll keep scrolling through this. We already knew New York net inflow, right?
Right.
The most,
which we may see another one depending on how that mayoral election turns out.
Yeah. This all kind of makes sense, and that's, and then population growth, Miami versus New York, 10-year population growth amongst gateway cities, right?
Okay, so who do we have? Oh, I see. Okay,
Houston, man.
I know a lot of people that recently relocated to Houston.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
We're up there though, right? And then there's other cities, obviously, that are net negative, right?
I can't see on there. Who is that?
That's Chicago and Los Angeles. San Francisco kind of holding even over the past 10 years,
right?
Which is interesting. So, here's the income trends.
My goodness, Palm Beach spiked.
Yep. Average household income of outgoing residents.
Yeah.
Average household income of incoming residents. Look at that. Look at these numbers. And this kind of makes sense because South Florida has become more unaffordable. So the people making less money leave. The people making more money come in, and that's frankly what we've seen.
And that's average income, man. The average household income, $175,000, and they're leaving because they can't afford it. Or, well, obviously that may not be the only reason, but in any case, that's crazy.
Like you said, Palm Beach, $296,000 average income.
Right.
This is
$175,000. Get out of here, you bum.
Yeah. Right. Wow. They talk about FIU and U Miami. Obviously, there's a number of other schools in Palm Beach, etc. I thought this was interesting. We'll get to it. Favorable business environment. Yeah, that's what we were just talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Where did it say number four, best state business tax climate?
Well, that's always been a big plus with
state of doing business,
like Florida.
Yeah.
And it's so funny, I hear it, and this came up a lot, I think, during the Stanley Cup Finals and other major sports, when people talk about how attractive it is to play sports in not just South Florida, in Florida in general, because they don't have the income tax. And it's kind of like, I could see that. I just don't know how much, pro athletes really care about it. You'd like to think they're a little more business savvy than they were before. But I can remember Gary Bettman, the NHL commissioner, somebody was asking him about that. What you got to remember, if you're like a Florida Panthers fan or something, they stunk forever. I mean, they had like a fluke year. They were really good. I mean, even if you're not a hockey fan, you kind of know they stunk. So it's like, clearly it wasn't that attractive because they were in the cellar forever and then finally just recently blew up. I think it's nice, but anyway, that was my brain naturally just kind of going off on the sports because it does that.
Yeah.
So
what I found interesting in a lot of these stats is these are 2024 numbers, which historically we haven't been able to kind of source ourselves. So some of this stuff I think was kind of helpful to kind of reinforce that things are still relatively strong, because we've been hearing, or maybe there was indications of population growth dropping substantially, other issues in South Florida. But when you look at 2024 stats, it suggests otherwise. It suggests that things are pretty decent. So just like from an unemployment perspective, we talked about Miami, 2.9, the average in the US, 4.5. Most of these other cities, much higher, right?
Well, and what I find so interesting about the growth in employment, what
that too.
I was going to say, I mean, what do you think spurred that? Obviously, we're talking over a 10-year period. I mean, certainly any number of things are. But for example, I know specifically what made Atlanta really grow over that time period because I was there. But with Miami, it's like I'd be interested to know just what industry really spurred that to have that kind of growth, because that's really good.
I think where populations grow, you start to get that just natural growth. And South Florida has seen a wicked increase in population. Yeah. So I think that's like the big attribution there. It's probably a combination of many services related businesses, right?
Yeah.
And then just the relocation of many of these other businesses, opening up offices, et cetera, et cetera. So this is interesting. We haven't talked a lot about this, but on June 1, 2024, the state of Florida reduced the sales tax rate on commercial real estate or commercial property lease payments from 4.5% to 2%. This includes base rent and additional rent payments on commercial office, retail space, warehouse, and self-storage units. A lot of businesses business owners that I know were pretty happy about this move here, right? So again, just net helpful to entice businesses to.
Well, I was going to say, I think that's very smart, because one of the biggest things I kept hearing about when we were coming out of the pandemic was how brick and mortar places of business might become extinct, because we were finding out that, hey, I mean, if you have to, everybody can work remote, etc. But then it's like, all right, well, hey, we want to get you back into the buildings. What can we do? How about we lower the commercial real property lease payments by 2.5%?
There you go.
I'm sure that helped.
Yep, 100%. Here you go. Job growth. Miami remains one of the fastest growing and highest paying destinations for those seeking a vibrant, cultural, and high quality place to call home. Mm-hmm. So this is number of jobs in office using occupations, Miami MSA. So that's like that's the Miami MSA. That's South Florida. So 2014 to 2024, 100% change in management, business and financial operations, 60%, right? So this is kind of answering your question. So legal, architectural and engineering, sales and related, office and administration support. So it's just kind of interesting to see that. That's not super clear as to like what industry did it, but I think it's a combination of everything.
Yeah.
So Miami has seen one of the strongest and most sustained increases in high-paying jobs relative to other major U.S. markets.
Well, frankly, when you account for cost of living, I would certainly hope so.
Yeah, right. Kind of has to. Yeah.
1 year growth, huh?
Yeah, that's pretty strong. The Great Migration, right? We talked about this. Many of these like big tech companies, big just private equity firms, et cetera, have either made some significant moves to relocate entirely or opened up offices. And we keep seeing these headlines over and over and over again.
Yeah.
I think part of what Miami has going for it is its bilingual nature and connection to the international markets, especially Latin America.
Yeah.
And so a lot of these firms take their international location, choose their international location to be, or headquarters to be Miami. So we see that a lot, especially in some of these tech companies. I have friends that work in different tech companies where you're like, you work for what? Yahoo? Oh yeah, we work for Yahoo, but for, we deal with Brazil or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. And so it's this unique thing that Miami has going for it that some of the other big cities don't, I think.
Yeah, there's certainly a variety of businesses. It's not just all, hedge funds and, other types of financial investment firms, whatever the case. I mean, it's like, yeah, you got the tech companies, you have New Day USA. I mean, that's, just a lot of different fields. So yeah, no, that's great. I look at it, I'm either like, boy, I wonder how much of that is the Steve Ross influence,
Totally. Well, I think there's a combination of billionaires that are making that happen, but yeah, for sure. This was interesting. Miami is the 9th wealthiest city in the U.S.
I'm surprised it's not higher, to be honest.
Right, totally. This was interesting. Ken Griffin, again, obviously the Miami. He's like Ken Griffin is to Miami as Steve Ross is to West Palm Beach, right?
Right.
Like just from a publicity perspective and people quoting him, at least for my opinion, like we keep seeing his quotes. We'll see how big Wall Street South becomes. We're on Brickell Bay, and maybe in 50 years, it will be Brickell Bay North, how we refer to New York in finance.
That's certainly ambitious, but you know what? You don't have the kind of success without having that sort of outlook.
New York isn't going anywhere.
No, it's certainly not. Or I mean Brickell North, excuse me.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, so I thought, okay, so here's some top growing occupations earning 100,000 plus annually: software devs, lawyers, medical, nurse practitioners, personal financial advisors. That's interesting. Financial managers. Yeah. General and operations managers. That's where they were saying they saw a huge growth, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that's it. I mean, we can talk about lifestyle here, but
I'm good. I think if you're unaware of the lifestyle of Miami, you need to get out just a little more. I mean,
yeah. Yeah. All right, let's keep it moving.
Yeah, let's move back to Palm Beach County with the story that keeps on giving, because people are up in arms and they're not giving up without a fight. It turns out Boca Raton's mega city hall campus has scaled back a little bit because, Larry, I don't know if you had heard about it, but there has been some public pushback regarding the mega government campus project that's going to be, certainly quite an endeavor. But now we're having a rare course correction. We have fewer apartments, no hotel, and more public amenities. So that's good. Hopefully that appeases the masses. Everybody who is certainly fired up about this, Terra and Frisbee Group, they're like, hey, we'll work with you here. We'll scale it back. Because for anyone who wasn't aware of the original vision, we have videos available on the Discover South Florida channel that goes into a breakdown of what it's all about. And I know I'm not alone when I say this. Hey, it looked really nice. I was very impressed. To get into the specifics, you had 912 residential units, 350,000 square feet of office space, the 150-room hotel, 152,000 square feet of shops, restaurants, new city hall building, community center, athletic facilities, and 318,000 square feet of parks and sports courts. It was going to be perfect, Larry. But then no, residents were like, we don't want this. It's too much. It is too much. Are you surprised by the scaling back at this point?
After I learned a little bit more about the process, I saw that this was like they were going to likely have to make an adjustment, right?
Even if the community wasn't kind of, pushing back against it. You're saying their eyes were a little bigger than their stomach, if you will. I mean,
I think they would have done it if the community let it be, right? Mm-hmm. But they did get over 5,000 signatures against the development. And so at the September 8th city council hearing or workshop, they presented a revised plan, as we just talked about, right?
Right.
So some of these things I'm cool with. Others, I guess I'm slightly annoyed about. Residential units cut from 912 to 740. Okay, to me that's not the end of the world. With more townhouses and a 160 unit condo option. So again, I'm like, I'm cool with that. Hotel removed completely. I guess I'm like, I think it would be nice to have another hotel in that area personally.
Yeah,
But
I was kind of surprised that was such a hot topic. There was like, no, we're gonna do some things here, but the hotel, it's got to go. We can't do this.
I think it would have been cool because I guarantee like the hotel would have had rooftop bar,
Yeah,
really cool amenities, and it would have been like the what's the one in downtown Del Rey that they just
the
put
Ray.
up? The Ray, yeah. There probably would have been a vibe
It
like
would have
that.
been the Boca.
It would have been neat. The Boca, yeah. There you go. So that could have been cool. But I guess they're
Not cool
revising.
enough.
Yeah. Retail and restaurant space was cut nearly in half, which to me is a little annoying, from 152,000 to 80,000 square feet. Again, I'm like pro, like let's have some more restaurants and some more cool amenities in the downtown area.
And I wish I had a more visual perspective on this one, because now you're just throwing out numbers when it comes to like, restaurant space. Because I'm like, okay, so like how many restaurants would that be? Like what, compare that to something else of this, same size. I'm like, what did we go to? I wish I could.
I feel like that's like 6 restaurants, 7 restaurants.
What, now we're down to 3?
Now we're down to like 8.
Oh, I see. So wow,
I would think like 10,000 square foot a restaurant on average.
Okay,
It's pretty big.
that is a lot.
10,000 square feet is a lot of space. So you actually might say that's, and not to say that they were all going to be restaurants, right?
Yeah.
Again, Class A retail.
Yeah, it wasn't going to be a Big Lots. I mean, what?
Yeah. It's gonna be Class A, really nice stuff. And so it's not going to be. They're not going to put 30 restaurants in, or 20 restaurants in. I mean, maybe, but probably not. You would have had a mix of like, you probably would have had, an ice cream vendor. You probably would have had like, you just name it, like, like just like what Meisner has. And so it would have been pretty cool. But this, I'm still pro this. I do like, so there's a, let me show. Yeah, I'm sharing my screen yet. No. Okay. Here.
No.
So this is what it looks like right here.
Oh, so is this is the updated one?
Changes following criticism from residents of the city about the size of the project. And so I believe, let's see. So the additional green space, it's
what
green
the heck
space is great.
that was going to be my next question. I'm like, is it still going to take up all of the same space? It's just now they're not going to put anything there.
Yeah. It's, I don't know. It's a good question.
I mean, it's a nice green space, but
we're going to find out more because there's additional meetings here on this. And so it'll be interesting to see. Okay. The added public benefits: expansion and redesign of the World War II Memorial Park, created in collaboration with the veterans. Okay. So they're making the park bigger, to your point, to exactly what we were talking about. Preservation of 6 historic banyan trees. Adding,
you were big on the banyan trees.
This is the only beef I had with the whole project. Like, don't get rid of the banyan trees. Please build around them, or unless it's like completely unreasonable, then the banyan trees got to go. But hey, it sounds like they're figuring that out. And I'm pretty pro save the banyan trees. For whatever it's worth.
Clearly you weren't alone.
No, I knew. No, you kidding me? If I care, there's plenty of people that care. That's for sure. Wow. Yeah. A renovation of the Children's Museum. Okay.
Where was it? I didn't even know there was a Children's Museum, to be honest.
I'm sure somebody's excited about that. Cool.
Yeah.
Good for them. At least 8
children's museums.
I
mean, I'm thinking of like isn't there like Sugar Sand Park had like they had something like that. That's the only place I can even think of.
I'll pull it up.
Anyway, whatever.
That's how unmotivated I am by it. I didn't even want to pull it up.
Well, Some of the notes here. It is true. The scale back shows how grassroots opposition can reshape even the largest projects. Residents demanded less density, and they got it. Okay. Yeah. I mean, hey, it's just one of those that I'm kind of like, well, go big or go home.
I'm curious. Yeah, me too. But I'm curious. I'm curious if this is enough to please.
Oh yeah. It's like, no. Oh, I'm sure there's probably some that don't want it done. Period.
I just don't think that's an option. Probably. I'm guessing. So. Well, yeah. Trade-offs. The public gets more green space and fewer high rises. The city will collect less revenue from the downsized project. Yeah, of course. Yeah. Despite the cutbacks, the project still reflects Boca's move toward redevelopment near transit, jobs, and civic spaces.
Well, I will say what also caught my attention was how the office space will be moved closer to the Brightline station, that they made a point of that.
I think they wanted it closer to the train tracks, closer just... I like the walkability idea. Yeah. Get in it, use that. I think that's just a good idea in general, right?
Yeah.
So, okay, so what's next here? The city council has not yet scheduled a vote. The revised plan will stretch out the review timeline, meaning more debates and potentially more changes are still ahead. So we'll see what happens here. I'd love it to rock and roll because I think it's a super cool project, and that's that.
I was under the impression they were already moving dirt.
No,
they hadn't. They hadn't actually. Okay.
No,
I'm just not around there enough.
They did plan to start moving the skate park and all that.
Oh,
right. But again, they're moving it to the other location. So
right.
Yeah.
Ocean Breeze and the mega pickleball complex.
Yeah, exactly. So let's talk about Toll Brothers. Again.
All right.
Toll Brothers is doing a lot of stuff.
Head a little farther south to Parkland, where the Toll Brothers were like, you know what? If there's anything we could add to Parkland that I just don't think there's enough of there, it's multi-million-dollar luxury homes. Because it's like Parkland, there's just none of that there. So they're like, all right, well, we don't have a lot of land to work with to build more multi-million-dollar homes, but hey, where there's a will, there's a way. And the Toll Brothers just paid $19.5 million to buy 21 acres of a former golf course. They're building a new community called Saltgrass at Heron Bay. You'll have 52 homes priced from $1.6 million. Wow. Complete with 3 and 4 car garages and sizes ranging up to 4,000 square feet. They're going to be nice. I wouldn't expect anything less. But for anyone who is wondering, oh my God, what was the golf course here? Well, that was back in 2019. You had the 223 acre Heron Bay golf course, and they closed it down. So it wasn't like, they're just now closing down a golf course. I guess, that's space to work with. And certainly Toll Brothers can take advantage.
It says temporarily closed though, John. They're going to open up.
Yeah. We're making a comeback.
So check this out. This is super common, right? We're seeing this like all of this. This is happening so often. All this.
Well, isn't like Parkland period just one big planned community? It seems like.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. Just like there's so many this is a huge, Heron Bay is a huge master plan community. Huge. Look at this thing. It's massive. This is probably an eighth or a quarter of Parkland as a whole, this community. And they're going to slam a whole bunch more homes into this thing, which is wild. So I'm sure this community is fired up over it for sure. Just like all the others, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, as you look at it, it's true. They don't have a lot of land left to work with. If you zoom out a little more, you show me like spaces they have. I don't see.
No, they've done it. Here's some of the latest projects. There's one going on up here. The map is updated. I've been in all these while they were under construction, and we got some farmland that will one day be dealt with. So there's not much really left. So much for Parkland. There's less parks probably now than there were originally. So this was interesting though. I don't know if you already talked about this, but I was just going through this. There was a tug of war over the land use as usual, with
Right.
the North Spring Improvement District buying the property for $32 million. Most of the land was kept for stormwater management and opened up and open space, with a memorial planned to honor the majority Stoneman Douglas tragedy. Major
the high school. Oh, yeah.
Marjorie. Yep. And so that left Parkland with 65 acres to work with, rare, valuable land in a city known for wealth, top-rated schools, and limited growth. In 2023, the city put a portion of that acreage up for sale. Developers lined up, including K. Hovanian and Mattamy Homes, but it was Toll Brothers that won out, agreeing to pay $19.5 million, breaking down to about $933,000 per acre. So what's the plan? 52 single-family homes, ranging from 2,600 square feet to 4,000 square feet, 4 and 5 bedroom floor plans, 3 and 4 car garages, prices starting at $1.6 million. And they expect to start launching sales next year, 2026.
Again, it's like when we talk about all the doom and gloom of the housing market and stuff, luxury homes are okay. They're doing okay. I mean, clearly there are people that are still very, very much confident in the state of things.
So yeah, I mean, and just like and the comment here in one of these articles is just like the reason at nearly $1 million per acre, the deal shows just how competitive the market is down here, right? Mm-hmm. So, because if you're gonna break these down into quarter acre parcels, right, you're paying $250 per quarter acre, right? And then you're gonna sell a home for $1.6 million. So you got to build these homes for $900,000 or so, right? Something like that, to make a margin that probably works. Maybe less, maybe 800, maybe 750. Maybe you're all in on the thing for $1 million and you sell it for 1.6. There's cost associated with that. So, and holding the land. So maybe that's where they're 1-1-1 all in on this thing, making a $500,000 spread per deal. That's interesting. That's interesting. So obviously there's going to be a range of prices. Like 1.6 is the starting price. They're going to sell these things for much more, right? That just goes without saying.
Those are for the other people.
And so
that's how the other half lives.
Yeah. We've seen Toll Brothers show up in a bunch of different places. And most recently in Boca Raton at the Hidden Valley Golf Course, which was previously known as the Boca Raton Executive Club, whatever corp. So this is interesting. The luxury home builder alleges, so they're in a lawsuit right now with the seller of that parcel. The seller at this parcel has been in lawsuits with every developer,
with all the neighbors, right?
Well,
am I thinking of the right
yes.
one here? Yeah.
But what's interesting about this is this is a lady that owns this property. Right. She inherited it, and she planned to sell it, and she's tried to sell it multiple times to developers, and every time for some reason there's lawsuits involved and everything. And so once again, this is a lawsuit where now Toll Brothers is suing her. And so at this point, it's like, I think we know where the common denominator lies, right? It's like, it's this owner of this land, most likely.
It's like, how can you not sell the land? What are you expecting?
What are you doing?
But I don't know.
What are you doing? So this is what the luxury home builder alleges, that the course owner, Boca Raton Executive Country Club Corp., backed out of a signed purchase agreement from February 2024. So what is that? We're going on almost a year and a half, 2 years. Toll Brothers is suing for specific performance, essentially asking the court to force the sale to go through. They've also filed a lease pendants on the property. Figures they would do that, so she can't do anything else with it, which legally flags the land as under dispute. There you go. So, and
what if we can't have it, no one can?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's kind of a move. It's like, hey, listen, we're not gonna let you out. Like we're not gonna let you run away with this or do something else or involve other parties, transfer title, do some weird stuff. That way, we now have to chase the next person and you, and so it just becomes this complicated thing. So that's a strong move. And what we were talking to other people familiar with this matter, and Toll Brothers has been doing a fair amount of work, not like physically moving the dirt, but preparation work, to as if they are proceeding with development. So, and some of these guys were like, hey, typically they only do X, Y, and Z, which they're doing now if this is happening, right? And so the signals from the action on the ground is they're building this thing. And despite probably public pushback, et cetera, et cetera. So Toll Brothers is running around here doing more than a few deals in South Florida.
Yeah.
In conclusion.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's head back up to Palm Beach County and a little bit west to Wellington, where you have New Rock. They're planning 2 affordable housing communities in Wellington. It's a Georgia-based developer, for those who are interested in New Rock companies, and they're making waves now with these 2 new projects that could bring more than 200 affordable apartments to Wellington. But there is a twist. These communities are being proposed under Florida's new Live Local Act, which means they could bypass some of the usual red tape. I feel like that is an all too common theme with some of the developments lately, but I guess that's why it's there. New Rock had submitted plans for 2 100% affordable housing projects. They would target families earning between 30 and 80% of the area's median income, offering apartments at below market rents. If approved and funded, these communities could become a lifeline for nurses, teachers, first responders, and service workers who struggle to find housing near their jobs in Palm Beach County. So certainly seems like that is in the spirit of the Live Local Act. Yeah. So Larry, what do you know about this one?
Well, let's talk about where it is, which is kind of interesting.
Off of Velasquez Road.
Yeah, which is just off of Southern, right? So like,
yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of out there to a degree. So
Wellington's kind of out there.
And Wellington's kind of out there. So it's adjacent to Wellington, which is nice. It's also straight line into West Palm and some of the action in the east. The Ardens to the west, big Florida Power and Light power plant that I've spent many days at.
Is that where you work?
A portion of it, yeah, sure. Yeah. So I spent a lot of time there. And so long story short, this area has obviously the Arden, which is so weird that this hasn't been updated. Like this has been built for a while now. And then you have obviously downtown Wellington. So you kind of have this property that's going to be 106 apartments, 63 2-bedroom units at 850 square feet, 43 3-bedrooms at 1,000 square feet, with the amenities, clubhouse, pool, fitness center, business center, and both projects sit on 4.86 acre sites, which inside a larger 257 acre area that Wellington rezoned in 2024 to allow new residential and commercial growth. So this seems like the plan. This fits in line with what they wanted it there anyway. And again, it's right off the main road. There was I was going to say there's Publix and all that here. So they've kind of put the retail there, primarily early on to serve Arden as it was being developed too. But now, like, you could see things are starting to spread out here. But these homes are like pretty spread out for Florida. Let's put it that way. And so this is kind of a unique location to be doing this like Live Local project. But I think it'll work. I think this is good. It's maybe like a 20 to 25 minute, maybe 30-minute run into West Palm Beach Airport, etc. So
isn't that going to be like Donald Trump Highway before you know it?
Oh yeah, that's right. Donald Trump Highway. Let's name it. Let's call it the right name. Yeah. And/or you're heading way west into South Bay and Clewiston, et cetera, where there is not much going on except for sugarcane stuff and fishing, right?
Mhm.
But this is kind of a good endpoint for that too, because like a lot of people that work out here, they tend to try to live over here. So with that being said, this is kind of a good, this is like a 45-minute run into that area. If you are employed over there and you need an apartment, this is super easy. So I think they'll get some of that action at that apartment too. Yep.
Okay. All right. Well, again, I mean, I feel like that, at least out there, and I particularly like Green Acres as well. I feel like that's the only spots where there's still land to work with.
Yeah, I mean, as you can see, there's plenty of it there, relative, and not so much of it.
Yeah, right. And when I say a whole lot, I mean you're not having to just take out everything else to build something. All right. Well, that's good to know. What's also good to know, that is, if you're a renter, that South Florida rents are falling, but still 30% higher than the rest of the U.S. But apparently it's everybody. I mean, you were talking everywhere from Coral Gables to Pompano Beach. Renters are finally seeing some relief. Prices are down 3 to 5% in different parts of South Florida. But the reality check is, even with those drops, you're still paying about 30% more than the rest of the country. This is according to Realtor.com's latest report. They said South Florida's rents fell 2.9% year over year, which certainly outpaces the national decline. But for example, with more than 15,000 new apartments on the way in Miami, this market is shifting. So investors, renters, and sellers all need to pay attention. Yeah, Larry. I mean, have you been noticing these drops in rentals and such?
Without question. So it started with the average rental, like the condo that needed a 30-day approval to get into. Those rents started to fall first, in my opinion, like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. We started to see that soften, right? So that's like, you own a condo, mom and pop owns a condo in a condo association and decides they're going to rent it out. Their rents started to soften, and they've softened quite a bit. Then it like moved into some other stuff, right? But at that time, like single family homes were still relatively strong. If you had like an institutional building with really cool amenities, that was still hanging out pretty strong. And then that low income stuff, like a lot of the apartments that I own, those were still strong. And so then we started to see other things weaken, like single family home rents in East Boca, where like you're like, hey, this is a pretty decent product. That kind of weakened a little bit there. And so we've been seeing that lately. And now we're seeing even the low income stuff that has substantially low supply is softening. My property manager and I were talking a week ago, and we were just talking about how we're making adjustments. I've been talking to some other big owners in the area, and they're feeling the same pressure. So it feels like everything is kind of catching up, and now things are just softening nice and easy. So yeah, in July, asking rents in Miami, Fort Lauderdale, and West Palm Beach dropped by 2.9% year over year. So that's asking rents. So people are asking 2.9% less than the year before, which is interesting, right? Yeah. And that's slightly more than the national drop of 2.5%. The median asking rent here is $2,332 versus the US, which is $1,712, which is about 30% higher. So we are still by far super expensive.
Yeah.
Right. And so I'm not surprised at this. We can see it. We can feel it in everything we do down here. It's expensive to be in South Florida. There's no question. Most of our clients are people that are not working anymore, and they're selling their house and relocating somewhere else. That's the majority of our sellers, frankly.
Well, yeah.
Yep. So, and they're moving to cheaper markets. And that's that. And why are they doing this? Because it's for a number of reasons, but one is just like, it's unaffordable to live down here if you're on a fixed income. It just is. So they can get a lot more bang for their buck in other parts of Florida, let alone the country. So
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, so it seems like that story hasn't changed at all, particularly with the fixed incomes. But when we were talking about with the Miami statistics earlier, which was really the Tri County area, but for Palm Beach and Broward and Miami-Dade County, the average household income of people that were leaving. I mean, my God, and you're making six figures. I'm well over six figures, and you're getting kicked to the curb.
yeah, exactly. And so this is just a perfect example of that. And again, like, well, the more wealthier people are moving in, and the less wealthy people are moving out. And I have to say it that way, not poor people. Like, I mean, look at those stats.
No.
People with 100 grand, 200 grand are leaving, right? It's crazy.
It's like, what do we think we are, California?
Right. Well, we're beating California right now, which is like the crazy thing.
That's saying something.
I thought this was interesting too. The Miami Metro alone is set for 15,666 new units, which is about 25% of the entire state's supply when it comes to construction. So we're adding more, but down here the demand's pretty good. It's pretty good, right? So
I think that's where all those foreign buyers come into play in terms of the demand.
Yeah, well, this is I don't know if this is specifically condos, but this could be just apartments. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I just immediately assumed condo.
Nationally, the South leads apartment construction. Florida and Texas together will accommodate for nearly 30% of all U.S. apartment completions next year, with Miami about 5,300 units, Fort Lauderdale 1,600, Hollywood 1,500, Hialeah 1,100, West Palm Beach 900 units. So, man, Dade County and South Broward getting it in.
Yeah. Wow. All right. Yeah. So, hey, let's talk about our friend Steve Ross some more, because we like doing that.
Love Steve.
Yeah, and he got quite the finance deal here. He locked in $340 million for One Flagler, which is that West Palm Beach hedge fund tower, as it's been nicknamed. It's a 25-story office tower in downtown West Palm Beach. If you're unfamiliar with it, it was developed by Steve Ross's new firm, Related Ross, which I believe was the first one completed under the Related Ross umbrella or whatever, the spinoff. He refinanced the tower with BDT and MSD partners, adding nearly $100 million more debt. But the thing is already, I believe, at 95% like rented out or whatever.
Well, that's why he got more debt, right? Because the bank was willing to give it to him, because this thing was cash flowing. They're not going to give him debt that he can't carry on a building, right? It's just that doesn't work. So they underwrite it. They say, you have this much cash flow, looks pretty solid, real tenants, big tenants, and looks like we can give you X amount of dollars. And so he was able to cash out, like you said, with another $100 million, which is the name of the game in real estate, especially at that level, which is a big win. It's pretty wild though that he was able to, they're able to kind of finish this off, lease it up that fast, refinance it, take out a bunch of money. That is a success story without question for this business.
And I'd have to imagine, just based on his reputation at this point, that must make up most of why he's able to seemingly get everybody on board so quickly. You're 85 years old, you've done extremely well for yourself. People are going to go with a proven winner, especially somewhere as nice as South Florida.
Yeah. I mean, this is what these big real estate hedge funds do, right? And he's been doing it nationally and probably internationally from New York forever. He's 85, as you mentioned, and so they got a rhythm here. They understand West Palm Beach really well. So he's probably not making decisions without having some level of certainty around the execution, because now he controls so much of the market, and he has so many connections, like you were just getting at, that he can kind of structure a deal where they build something and lease it up, they kind of already know the answer unless something weird happens in the world, right? That is really unforeseen. So, yeah.
Okay. So that's how you get it done. But we're going to stay in Palm Beach County and head a little bit south to Lake Worth, where development expands workforce housing in Palm Beach County. So it wasn't just Wellington that's possibly going to add some workforce housing. We got it in Lake Worth Beach as well. This is the Residents of Lake Worth Beach, which is a $62 million development by the Richmond Group. It's under construction right now. And when it's completed, it'll deliver 195 income-restricted apartments, clubhouse, pool deck, and hundreds of parking spaces. Parking spaces as far as the eye can see. It's all strategically located between West Palm and Boca Raton because that's where Lake Worth Beach is. So it's a 7.4 acre site at 2431 2nd Avenue North. Larry, where is that exactly?
Right here, east of Congress, west of 95, off of, this is, what is this, Lantana? Making that up?
Okay.
No, hold on. Lake Worth Road.
Okay.
Lake Worth Road. I drove by this. They're rocking and rolling on this. They're moving along, and this is a great spot to put this project. I'm sure this got approved relatively easily. You have a number of multifamily projects or construction in that area right now, and it's a strong rental market. Lake Worth, Green Acres. That whole area is historically really strong. We own a number of apartments, frankly, right in that area, in that vicinity. And I would just say there's good demand for stuff there. So, and again, it's a market where this workforce housing stuff is prominent. So it's what people need over there. And so 195 workforce apartments on 7.4 acres. You said hundreds of parking spaces, 279 to be exact, right? Yeah,
I wasn't sold until that point.
A nearly 5,000 square foot clubhouse, a pool deck for residents. Yeah, I mean this is good. Let's see, they took a $47 million loan from Merchants Bank of India, $13 million from Palm Beach County's Workforce Housing Bond Program. Nice. $2.35 million in tax-exempt financing from Merchants Capital Corp, totaling nearly $67 million. So that's a $67 million in construction loan, right?
Yeah.
Yep. So that's an exciting project. We need this stuff, right? It says phase one.
I mean, we've been talking about it forever with the need for workforce housing. It's like, it's nice to see more of these stories that they're trying to build more workforce housing, because it's not like this problem is suddenly going to go away, especially considering all the population growth and things that are all very positive. That comes with the prosperity of an area. So you can't say they aren't trying to address it.
Yeah, and it seems like this Live Local Act is getting stuff done, right?
Yeah, so, right. If we're cutting through that red tape.
Here's another one. This is looks like it's this is a 55 plus affordable housing project that's going up right here in East Lake Worth, kind of by the train tracks, on the southern end here, which is a good spot. This is historically a tougher area.
Yeah.
Right in the south end, west of the train tracks, east of 95. So right here it'll be a welcome addition, adding some new blood quality product. 91 units on the first phase, 85 units on phase 2, total 176 to 182 units after addition of adjacent property. So, and it's approved height up to 6 stories, density 97.75 units per acre. So
I'd imagine that's another one of those places where, building height restrictions come into play.
Yeah, but they get the Live Local stuff, so they get the advantage of kind of rocking and rolling and pushing the limits of that stuff a little bit. And again, I think this is net positive for Lake Worth. Just get some more affordable housing, bring those the more supply in the market, the higher probability rents soften a little bit more, right? And I think that's just net positive for everyone who lives in South Florida if rents are a little cheaper. And I'm a landlord, so I'm saying that from this will hurt me, right?
Like, and I'm still okay with it because
This will
if
hurt
you look
me,
at the big picture,
I think it's the right thing for the world, right? Like let's make things more affordable, and we should continue to strive for that. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Man, we got more mixed use developments happening as well. This is down in Fort Lauderdale, the Astor Progresso Village. That's Progresso with 2 S's. It's a 12-story mixed use project rising in Fort Lauderdale's Progresso Village neighborhood. Go figure. Backed by Midtown Capital Partners and designed by Cube 3. This development blends modern residential living, commercial storefronts, and lifestyle amenities in a location that is set to redefine the area. I know I saw a couple of the renderings of it. Part of all that construction that's happening in Fort Lauderdale. Now, I mean, I guess what this is. I mean, is that downtown? No, it kind of looked like it was from that rendering, though.
Yeah, it's not far.
Yeah,
it's not far.
Okay.
This is Broward Boulevard right here. So,
okay. Just making sure because I was like,
it's pretty close. Looks like they're putting it right up on that. I mean, there's a lot of high rises in the area, right?
Yeah.
So this is a great rendering. Yeah.
BC, they spelled it with 1 S, so I just felt the need to clarify.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Just a little inside joke that somebody on our team had spelled it wrong, and we were kind of going back and forth about it because that's what you do at work.
We're not. We'll just let it go.
Yeah,
we'll hard down tomorrow.
Cube 3. This
is interesting. Once a salvage yard, now prime real estate steps away from major roads, public transit, and FEC railway. Right?
Oh, that was a salvage yard.
Yeah, that's pretty neat. Well, look at it.
That's fair.
Right? Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So 249 total units, 180 studios, 8 junior 1 bedrooms, 22 1 bedrooms, real 1 bedrooms, and 39 2 bedrooms. Commercial space of about 1,800 square feet. So not a lot. Ideal for cafes or local shops, stuff like that.
I don't know how familiar you are with the architectural side of things, but I just can't help it. I'm just like curious when they're sitting down, coming up with the units, like how they decide, we're going to have 180 studios. I'm feeling like 8 junior bedrooms. You know what I mean? Like, how did they decide on the number of bedrooms and things when you're putting together a structure like that?
You have parking requirements, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you have only so much space on a lot. And you typically have unit count limits. So you have parking requirements, unit count limits, and only so much space. So it just becomes this like CAD game of I'm like trying to map out how many units I can put. And if I put a 3-bedroom, I need this many parking spaces. If I put a 1-bedroom, I only need this many parking spaces. So, and I just hit my quota on parking spaces, but I didn't hit my quota on units, but I can't fit another 2-bedroom here. Right. And so it's like this mix of like, or we can't put this here. We got to make this a storage closet or something. You know what I mean? Or whatever.
No, I get it. Oh, that makes sense. So it's just
problem
solving essentially.
100%. We did this on one development that we were working on, and we spent a ton of time trying to figure this out, where it would go, how we could fit it. The cool thing is I mean, a lot of these guys are using these live local projects, and they have this like boundary push that they can do on some of these things. And so either way, they're still going to push it to the limit, right? Because that's what makes them the most money. This is all about making money for these guys. So
of course.
So yeah. What I thought was cool here is they have a rooftop pickleball court with a bar. With a bar. This is going to be awesome.
That is a good idea. That's interesting.
Yeah, this is good. This is going to be a cool place to live. This goes back to like when you have these institutional buildings like these that are apartments, they tend to get a premium in rent because of like the community, the atmosphere, the amenities, right? You get that kick. And so this is them competing with every other project in the area. So they got to be the coolest one or the best one to drive the
Right.
rents to the number that they're targeting so they can make the most money, thus get the biggest refi or sell it afterwards, right? So they got a 4th floor pool deck and sun deck. Cool. Fitness center, yoga lawn, okay, and BBQ area. Designed for active and social living.
Yeah. Certainly designed for that. I mean,
Fort Lauderdale.
like I was gonna say, I mean, if you don't have a yoga lawn, what are you doing?
I'm not going if there's no yoga.
I know. I just saying.
That's
It's just one of those things. All right. Do we want
On
to
that
wrap
note,
it up? Yeah,
let's wrap it up.
Wrapping up. Okay. On behalf of Larry Mastropieri, broker owner of the Mastropieri Group, I'm John Laws of Discover South Florida. Just want to thank everybody for tuning in, and we will see you on the next one.